The human mind defaults to a state of perpetual turbulence. Every second, conscious attention is pulled in dozens of directions by sensory inputs and stimuli. For thousands of years, the physical practices of yoga, the postures and the regulation of breath, were developed specifically to address this instability. They exist to quiet the physical body. But physical stillness is merely a prerequisite. The ultimate objective of the system is entirely cognitive, seizing control over the architecture of human attention. This shift from physical to mental discipline is codified in the Vibhuti Pada, the third chapter of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Here, the text abandons the body entirely. The practitioner is instructed to leave behind physical reality and begin the active, deliberate restraint of the mind itself. Sutra 3.7 introduces a precise terminology for this new phase, the antaranga, or the inner limbs. The first 5 limbs of yoga deal with external behavior, ethics, and biology. The antaranga severs that connection to the outside world. The practitioner crosses a rigid boundary. Observation turns completely inward, shutting off external sensory data to examine the mechanisms of thought. Yoga transitions from a behavioral exercise into a rigorous technology of consciousness, requiring the practitioner to navigate 3 specific, progressive levels of mental focus. The first of these internal stages is defined in Sutra 3.1 as Dharana, or concentration. The text describes this as a strict, localized binding of the mento-emotional energy. The attention is tethered to a single, restricted location, such as a specific point in the body or a single conceptual object. This initial stage is characterized by intense psychological friction. The mind naturally wanders, and the practitioner must exert constant effort to pull the attention back to the anchor. It is a highly mechanical process of noticing distraction, capturing the stray thought, and forcing the focus back to the target, over and over again. When that mechanical struggle ceases, the mind enters Sutra 3.2, Dhyana. Patanjali uses ekatanata to describe this shift. The fragmented focus becomes one continuous, thread-like stream of attention. Conscious exertion drops away completely, because the engagement has become entirely self-sustaining. Dharana and Dhyana operate on a single spectrum. The forced, localized restraint of concentration generates the momentum required for the effortless flow of meditation. The cognitive descent reaches its final stage in Sutra 3.3, Samadhi, or complete absorption. Popular culture often misinterprets Samadhi as a blackout, an empty void, or a loss of consciousness. The original texts describe the exact opposite. The sutra uses the phrase swarupa sunyam eva. The practitioner's sense of self, their ego, and the awareness of their physical form recede entirely. With the observer's identity out of the way, the object of focus dominates the mind completely. There is no longer a meditator observing an object. There is only the object, illuminated in total clarity. This brings us to Sutra 3.4 and the ultimate revelation, the concept of Samyama. Samyama is not a separate fourth technique. It occurs when concentration, meditation, and complete absorption happen simultaneously upon a single object, bridging into one unified mechanism of cognitive restraint. What happens when a human mind achieves this level of total unification? Sutra 3.5 states that mastering Samyama produces pragyana loka, a sudden flood of illuminating insight. This insight is the natural, logical result of a mind operating entirely free from the distortions of ego and the scatter of sensory distraction. When you remove the noise, the signal becomes absolute. The text immediately grounds this process in reality with Sutra 3.6, clarifying that this mastership does not happen instantaneously. It occurs in precise, methodical stages. The practitioner must systematically build their capacity to hold this restraint, requiring rigorous discipline to permanently restructure their attention. By achieving samyama, the yogi stabilizes the mind to a degree that allows for profound cognitive evolution. In the next episode, Patanjali explains how consciousness itself undergoes these precise changes through a process known as the 3 parinamas.